Good, Facebook family? Um, I'm I'm gonna skip today's your show and mine, Bobby Ramos Bottom Line. Because there's things that are more important in life, and I'm gonna talk to you from my heart about this situation with the murder of George Floyd. For the folks who don't know, that is the man who was murdered by the four police officers in Minneapolis. And I'm not saying black man, I'm saying man. This man was murdered by four police officers in Minneapolis with cold and cruel and callousness that we see far too many times. Not these days, it's always going on, but now because everybody has cameras and cell phones, we're seeing it more and more. Everybody knows I was a police officer for 27 years, and I appreciate all the hundreds of responses I got when I had my anniversary back on May 19th and all the positivity. And I put up all the pictures with all the community stuff that I did and all of that. But I wanted to get that twisted. Being brutally, I was a damn good cop. And I did a lot of big time police work. That's why I'm the most decorated cop in Stratford's history. It has nothing to do with doing for seniors and doing for kids and all that. It had to do straight up with police work and knowing how to deal with people and dealing with people in the right way. No better than anybody else. But whether I was dealing with the crowd of people coming through Stratford who ended up having the big riot with the police in Seaside after the Rodney King thing, catching all kinds of people one-on-one, just situations. I've never, and I'm not saying I'm any better than anybody else, but I've never used a nightstick. I've never maced anybody. Never kicked anybody. Didn't have to do things like that. If it was a physical situation, then we'd handle it man to man. I sure didn't get into pushing and shoving and hitting women. Doesn't happen. Didn't happen. There are so many, bluntly put, punk ass police officers out there. It's just ridiculous. And to watch that 10-minute video, I don't cry that often, but it brought a tear to my eye last night when I watched that. Watched this man plead and beg for his life, saying he couldn't breathe and his stomach hurts and gasping for air and his eyes bulging out. And that cop never letting go with his knee on his neck like that. And watching the other cop, the Asian cop, standing there with the arrogance. Let me tell you, I've always hated that tough guy shit that some cops do. Oh, I got my hand on. I'm a cop. I'm this and that. Fuck all that shit. Those are weak ass signals. And I'm not saying you as the public would know, and I'm just telling you as somebody who wore the badge and wore the uniform. Those are weak ass signals to me as a cop. Where? White folks, where are you? We need you. And I'm not saying we as black folks, I'm saying we as a people, because I believe in my race. I believe in my race strongly. I believe in the human race. White folks, where are you with this? I don't see all these posts from all of my white friends. You should be riled up, not just when a black person posts something and you say, I agree. You should be beyond yourself with what you've seen time and time again. Where cops of color, black cops, where are you? Because this stuff is always happening to people who look like us. Where are you? Where's your voices? Where are you? And trust, I'm not doing this because I'm not a cop anymore. I was fighting the battle like Ted Meekins. I was fighting the battle when I was in uniform. That's why I was an outcast, just like Ted Meekins in Bridgeport. But my point is, where are you, black and Latin officers? Where are you? Dr. King had a great quote, silence is betrayal. Silence is betrayal. Your silence is a betrayal of mankind. It's a betrayal to your own people. You have no comment. So tough and so many things to say. And when I say something, you listen. Where are you saying something now? When all of these things, not just this incident, this is the most recent, but all the ones that have happened, where are you collectively? Where's your voice? Trust. This happened the other way around. Take this scenario, folks. Let's make that guy who died, who was murdered, let's make him a cop. And 4 civilians did this to him, watched him, did it to him, watched him plead for his cop life. Would the reaction be different? You damn Skippy, it'd be 100% different. Everybody, you can't do that to a police officer. Has nothing to do with a police officer, it has to do with a human being. So everybody would be up in arms if that guy murdered had been a cop. But it works both ways. A cop can't get away with it either. Cops can't get away with it either. It's not enough to, yeah, okay, they're fired, big damn deal. And it shouldn't be months. They should be up on murder charges as we speak. As we damn speak. Let me go back to the officers of color again. I get it. I don't agree with it. Ted Meekins, an icon from Bridgeport, stepped in the fray knowing he was going to take the hits. I did in Stratford. You guys don't want to say shit because you're afraid of being an outcast. Because you're afraid of not being one of the boys. Trust me, you ain't one of the boys right now being silent. You are a boy, but you're not one of the boys. You don't want the heat to come down on you. You don't want to have officers not talking to you in your own department. Build a bridge and get the hell over it. Ted Meekins did it, I did it. You'll get through it. It's about the betterment of damn society. Can't talk about being the man and wearing all this equipment like you're in the service and you're a tough guy, but you don't stand up. You don't stand up. All of this crap that police departments are doing around the country now, they're trying to send officers out to teach the public, especially the public of color, on how you should handle yourself when you're dealing with a police officer, because police officers, it's such a stressful job. You should know how to do this and that. Now, y'all should be teaching your own officers how to deal with people. Listen, this isn't about the public with their knee on a cop's neck, watching him suffocate and plead for his life. These are us. These are cops who are doing that. You'd be better suited to try to train, even I don't believe in all that training stuff either, but that's a story for another day. But you need to direct your attention to the perpetrators of the death knell. It's usually not the public. I I've heard, because I into sports like most guys. Where's all the people now that I've debated for years with? This is exactly what Colin Kaepernick was kneeling about, and you all took it like he's talking against the veterans. No, the hell he wasn't, and he said he wasn't. He told you flat out, and you kept listening to morons like Trump, who was convoluting and twisting the message and changing what he was doing. This guy put his life and his livelihood on the line to make a stance for other people. But this is what he was talking about. Violence by police officers against people of color. This is what he was kneeling for. And when you say kneeling there, that's basically one of the easiest things to do. Not always easy for men to do. And for the folks who don't know where he got the idea about kneeling, was from Chris Boyer, a former NFL player who had served in the service, a white guy. Said, listen, I fought for you to have the freedom to make your stance, to say what you want. He said, but what I would do, I would kneel. That was his idea. The media doesn't want to tell you that. The media doesn't want to repeat that. So just what Colin Kaepernick was fighting for and lost his job for, and he'll never be an NFL quarterback again, losing his livelihood trying to help others. Of course, not all cops are like these morons and these jerks that we've seen. But it's like in any other walk of life. There's always bad eggs. In a lot of cases, there's more than a few bad eggs. And I've always found it funny when police departments put out the commercial and tell people, see something, say something, tell us about it. On the periphery, okay, I get a little bit of it. When's the last time you seen cops telling other cops? When are we? Because listen, like any job, but in police, we all know in police departments the bad eggs. We know the ones who ain't wrapped too tight. We know the ones who are racist. We know the ones who have an agenda with people because they were hated in high school and grammar school and picked on. Now they're a cop. Now they're going to take it out on other people. We in the department, we know who them cats are. Nobody says anything. When have you read or heard or seen on the news where chiefs are cutting officers even though they're putting up all this vile stuff on their Facebook page and they've done all these crazy things, just hating on people? Whether it's lesbians, whether it's gays, whether it's Jewish folks, whether it's black folks, whether it's Latin folks, whatever. Until they mess up, and then now you got to try to cover up so the city doesn't have to write such a big check to the family. Police don't police themselves. But we'll go out to the public and tell the community, tell us everything you know about your neighbor. Tell us, rat on them and do this and do that. Cops don't do it ourselves. And when you try to do the right thing, yeah, you will become an outcast. But, I did okay as an outcast. Fuck that. I did real good as an outcast. Ted Meekins did real good as an outcast. What I'm trying to say is wrong is wrong. That father and son team that shot that black man who was jogging, and they said he was breaking into houses. The guy who owned the house had the videotape put in there. Been working on the house for quite a long time. A lot of people have gone in. It's an empty house. A lot of people have gone in to look around. This guy went to use the water fountain outside. But anyway, the only reason why that wasn't prosecuted, the first two prosecutors recused themselves. Why? Because this father and son had police ties. They had police ties through the courts, and they had ties. So they recused themselves, and nothing happened until the media got a hold of it. As soon as the media got a hold of it, then these guys get brought in. Then these guys get arrested. The media didn't bring it to light. Police department knew the story, but they didn't want to touch these guys. Wrong is wrong. And I'm not talking about some minor things. We all make mistakes. I'm not talking about minor crap. Killing people. Killing people. Killing unarmed people. Killing women. Killing kids. Killing people for walking down the street. Killing people for jogging. Everything under the damn sun. Right is right. Wrong and wrong. Silence is betrayal. Police departments, we all know that we'd have officers who weren't cut out to be officers. Instead of spending years trying to cover up and hope that they don't mess up big time, you ought to work just as hard to get rid of them. When I see a lot of these guys, I'm not the best thing walking, but I see a lot of these guys, they shouldn't be damn cops, scared of their own damn shadows, shooting women and shooting kids, all afraid. They all remind me of a real life living Barney Fifes who wouldn't hurt nobody. But these cats are afraid of their own shadow when you're just shooting people and stepping on people's neck for some stupid forgery. Gray in Baltimore broke his damn spine. Couldn't even walk into the back of the paddy wagon. There's so many cases, and listen, I'm not going to keep you folks. It's been a long one anyway. But I'm just steaming. I'm just sad. Um, and I don't play that wishy-washy game of, oh, not everybody. Everybody knows not all cops are bad. I think most people know most cops aren't bad or wouldn't do that kind of stuff. But real cops, we know the ones in our departments or who are capable of that kind of stuff and get away with that kind of stuff at whatever level. Maybe not even killing somebody, but just bastardizing people's rights. We know, for the most part, who they are. Supervisors bury that crap. These are lives that are being lost. These are mothers, these are fathers, these are sons and daughters, and aunts and uncles, and community members and neighbors of people. You don't remember anything today I said? Just remember what I said earlier. Imagine if any of these situations, but let's take this most recent one. Imagine if that was a cop and we watched 4 men stand around and callously murder him and hear him beg and plead for his life, and we do jack shit about it. How would the public respond if an officer was killed like that? Anyway, as a community of cops, shame on us. Even if you didn't do it, silence is betrayal. You're not saying anything. Shame on us. For the Black and Latino officers, double shame. Cats know what's going on. You know what time it is. We all talk in the parking lot. We all talk car to car about really what's going on. We all know it. And white folks too. This is about you as well. You should be outraged. God forbid, let something happen to a whale. Let something happen to an animal. And I'm an animal lover. But let something happen to an animal. Y'all get up in arms. End of the world. Got to right this wrong. These are people who are being killed on our streets. They're being killed right before our very eyes. I have nothing prophetic to say. I have no great quotes to say. I have nothing slick to say. Shame on us as a people when we don't stand up for our defenseless and our weakless. Well, I got a lot more to say, but this has been 22 minutes already, so I'm going to stop this. But I learned my lessons from my father. I watched him go through racial stuff. I watched the family go through it. I learned from knowing and listening to Ted Meekins for years. I'm going to go. I'm going to go. But we better wake up. If we don't wake up, we're all going to perish. All of us. With all the infighting that's going on. With all the hate that's going on. Have a good day, folks.